for coming to the third speakeasy. We're about to start. I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. We are at Hookah Lounge, so make sure that you guys get a hookah and support local businesses and whatnot. They're tasty and nutritious. So, yeah, with that being said, we're going to start off with A.Lovering, and then she's going to just kick us off real fast. So let's get started.
Hey everyone.
Hey Anna. Sorry.
Thank you. First one is a little bit of song and poetry. A poetry song, but alright. Titled Ache. She left town one day. She grabbed a TV remote and left for a city bigger than her world. I stared out towards misery within an unfrozen universe. Free, swirling, winding through charcoal night, changing lard words that tumble down lines. No powder, please. I've already dried out. But baby, don't you just give up. No, 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 no. A vow we shared let go when you left me open for so much pain. Deep down when time drained us both. Baby, don't you just give up. No, 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 no. Just reach out. Give yourself to me. Truth will. We will let go. Pour life into keys of selfless loathing from direction of hair left unkempt, unseen. Travel with me away from a pain that eased me. But oh, baby, please me. Since your eyes danced so free with life. That was a plea straight from me. A bag of loneliness emptied without a top key. We gotta leave, don't care how. Just realize I need you. Cities of hallucinations, Shakespeare's lament. Stair-stepped an entire skyscraper of thoughts, vast and resounding as shadows crawled, perplexed through a day to permeate night and pull her lampshade down. Just to grab the twinkle of Icarus going faster and faster towards burned curtains. He held on to a fever so high we despised, but pinned him close to our side, which stones of worth dug in deep, a myriad of faces that were always kept clean. Alongside parked cars, broads, gigolos, thousands spent in honor of her king. Built up high, she left him on grief, torn from a letter, handwritten and sealed. Fates was their name. How many to shame lost in a web train that grabbed their chalice only to end it all in malice. The fisherman. So sits a heron upon a wharf outside a marsh, a ledge curled up and into water as a bent-over fisherman, to see mosses that hang freely, waiting out his day. The weather, warm and moist, creates a plumaged host of a catch of his prey. Should a leaf fall and ripple, a line he had, half cast so fair, his beak slender and full of grace, that it should press against a silvery lake. It breaks through, and a minute of dawn's hand is given away again toward one that entails the lone. How this is their home, to stand and fish is the only wish, which a fisherman has found its way past the feeding lines, whose rigid time samples in the pitch red loot, her majestic properties that entrance me, so subtly I see, which sheds everything adorned with pods of life for me. Love letter and braille. A woman who held metaphors in her thoughts could see every skyline outlined with lights, each one her own, her plans rolled in atop ocean tides, small disguised weights of a night cast as anchors to speak. All that shone through as light spoken with hands, eyes to receive your pain that you used as an umbrella against rain. City on a moon. I used to stare out and above the city on a moon. Paper clipped with the neon Xerox lights that lined a sea canal to roam freely as a sterling compass, which held imagination in dual speed across laminate flooring and through smoke, that bellowed off of a cold fork to share a penny when morning came and the lampshade of stars were pulled down from our city on a moon. A dream tonight. I've run it down each time. A dream of you chasing me through pitfall gravel skies, which ride a harness of light, self-satisfactory to neon's light, without any shades to cover your way. There's no escape. Just live for today, since I've run it down each time I see you. I've seen my dream tonight. Memory. A chamber of voices carries me into a drifted calm of outdoors, and when I look away, there is only a memory of you. I don't want to be just a memory. I want us to live within each other, so that we may grace our future with what is to come. Coffee. Share a sunset under the bridge as the phonograph strikes the wax like a match, and the sound rumbles forward across a plain, Plain middle of night when telephone wires scratch the night sky, and wish to grab in safety clothespin a star and shoot it in a slingshot so the shadow can land on top of your coffee. Human drum. The human drum is your soul, left to follow no one left out on the streets. Tonight, where willows whisper softly for me, a key fell in my pocket, only to be pulled out for a light socket of imagination that creases folds of a night where crows perch their claws as shiny spurs of midnight. Where has my babe run to? In swamps, I don't wish for her to go right there. Missed you today. When I'm missing you, I'll stay there, held in your eyes, folded as arms, for I couldn't stand to lose our time. Thank you. And now, Hannah.
Yeah, Hannah. Hey guys, I'm going to start off with something really lighthearted and silly. It's in honor of the great month of December. I'll tell a tale of a man with no beard who pioneered the wild and weird. His beard wouldn't grow, so he couldn't go to the party for the bearded men in the know. Without a beard, he sadly appeared, and all the men hooted and hollered and jeered. "Look at that man," they all sneered. "It's as if his beard's been sheared." "Sir, are you aware that your face is bare? And is this rare, or don't you care if facial hair is growing there?" The man turned away, for he could not say. He was without a beard, and as his eyes filled with tears, he vowed that for years he would make good, to do what he could so no beardless man would be misunderstood. To his workshop he went, and forever he spent perfecting the perfect beard. It was thick, it was full, it was brown, it was cool, it was genetically bioengineered. He returned to the party and said to the smarties who had mocked him once in his past, "I'm here with a beard as you baldies have feared, and unlike yours, mine will last." And this is all my serious stuff, so. When water ran over our toes and between our legs in the last dusty days of summer, we made promises to the stars. Forever? We didn't say it. Blink once, blink twice, look at you, then look away. I wasted so much time blinking and blushing through the gold-rimmed heat of the season. I should have been devouring, committing to memory the fine lines of your eyelashes and the slick beads of sweat along your neck. Like the fried food we never ate, sizzling and scorching in the hot oil of our laziness, and like the grapes we raced the birds to pluck from the vine, we were ripe and ready to become intoxicating, to become intoxicated. By the end of the summer, we had peeled 61 ripe avocados, and with every skin we tossed aside, we shirked one of our own, spilling our own green secrets and salty souls into the bowls of lemon juice. There are no stop signs on country roads, but all country roads eventually stop, and when our single-gear bicycles, baskets full of feelings left unsaid, ran up against pavement, we parted ways, breaking our promises to each other, if not to the stars. This next one is seasonal affective purgatory or snap. There is nostalgia in the rain, and the way its absence was the refrain of the summer I spent with you, when we wandered under dry skies with red eyes, wondered when the clouds would break and fill the cracks in our elbows, and when the wind would blow in some change that we didn't want or need, unless it was filling our pockets with enough silver dollars to buy cigarettes. We stared at the clear skies and counted falling stars, wished that drops of water would replace them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There is an obsession with nostalgia that relates to the imagery of memory. In your mind, everything blooms when it should have and dies too soon. Bright morning glories crushed before the rise of the moon, a fragrant bed of herbs choked out by bindweeds someone forgot to pull, water lilies drowned by a flood of emotion no one can control. In your mind, nothing dries up because the sun could never kill. The sun can only heal, only make things more real. That's why fall is so fearsome, so wearisome, so dreary for want of some. We say the colors are beautiful, but we should be truthful, admit that they're the colors of death. I want to know why school starts in the fall, why we're forced into new beginnings when everything's ending. Are we supposed to be distracted from the pain and death surrounding us, from the cold days and colder nights and freezing rain drowning us? New clothes and notebooks can't keep me warm enough. new people in my life make me feel even colder, and with fall, I realize I'm another year older. The 8th of November, another year closer. But they tell me that death is a part of life, and with every ending comes a new beginning. And now I'm finally fucking someone new, finally fucking over you. But I'm not over the warmth of the sun and your arms around me, not over not feeling lonely or lost because someone finally found me. Fall could be the best time for relationships. The first fire of the season, the early autumn sunsets. The world is romantic in fall, too, if you're not too busy or just ready to be through. But I guess it feels like fall has skipped itself, gone straight to winter, even though there are still leaves on the trees. But I don't have cigarettes or a lighter or your love left, and I'm left waiting for the beginning that this ending is supposed to bring. I'm stuck in the middle, waiting for spring. Are you happy? I should have asked, but instead I said, I love you. It's one of those mistakes I always make, opening my mouth too wide and letting my heart fall out. Like if I can give it to someone new, it won't be wrong now. And it won't be long now before someone opens up too much and drops their heart in my lap too. But then was the wrong now, and you were the wrong you, and as much as I wanted it, I guess it wasn't true. The second after I said it, I saw myself in slow motion. Heard a voice in my head give a play-by-play and wished I could unsay what I had said. I wish I could suck my heart back into my chest where it belonged, and I longed to rewind, to erase the mistake I had made from your mind, but instead, I kept saying it. I'm just happy, I should have said, but instead I said, I really love you, and you just sat there, like you always do, like all of you do, like you did, and he did, and the he before you too, and just like always, I watched my heart beat blue. I tried to catch my breath and catch myself before I forgot what it felt like to be in an equal relationship. I had a chance for that, but I wasted it. Instead of saying, I'm sorry, I asked, well? One look at your face and I could tell that all the happiness we could have had was going to hell. I missed our emotional eclipse by a long shot. Should have stopped, but I guess I thought it would be better to be early than late. Or maybe I just don't know how to wait. Are you happy? I finally asked when I should have said nothing at all. You let my heart fall when you walked away, and I thought I heard you say, I was. But all the wases in the world couldn't fix where we were, and where we are today is forever away from the things you didn't say, and the things I shouldn't have said, and the things we could have read into when we fell head first into what was obviously not love. So, I'm asking, are you happy? Because today is a day that I don't love you, and tomorrow is a day that I won't love you, and I haven't loved you for the last forever, and I know that whatever happens next week, or the next week, or the next week, I will never get to take it back or make it right. But there's a possibility that I might stop writing poems about you someday, and you'll fade from my life in the same way that I probably faded from yours. And I'll ask myself, are you happy? And the answer will be yes. And then when I say I love you, it'll be the best thing to do, because self-love is always true. And I'll pick my heart up gingerly and let it beat blue and drop it back down my throat and smile. And I swear that'll fucking happen, even if it takes a while. This is my last one. I'm suffering from a rather long bout of writer's block, and that's the title of this. You know, I used to have a way with words. For a while I could say whatever needed to be heard, but lately it's like I've lost my touch. I don't do much, so I don't say much. I don't say much because I don't feel much, except I feel like I'm in a rush to get somewhere, but I'm scared that when I get there it won't be where I want to be. Can you hear me? Am I getting my point across? Because lately I just feel lost, and I know it's holding me back, and I don't want to go back to being nothing because I'm doing nothing, but most of the time that's just the easiest thing to be. The easiest thing to do. Is this making any sense to you? I hate constantly questioning myself, wondering how I felt because I couldn't put it into words, because I can't create a coherent thought, and I thought that meant you were crazy, or a child, or had some sort of mild to severe learning disability, but really, it just means maybe you're going through a quarter-life crisis, so I'm going to try this one more time. Bird shit. It's smudged on my windshield, and that's how I feel, though I can't decide if I feel like the shit or the shield. Completely disgusting or just blemished, but not broken, and the fact that I can't decide is a token of my confusion, so let's do this again. I want to be beautiful like the most beautiful sunset, the ones everyone can agree on are sexy, but let's be honest, I've never been the hottest, and I'll never be that sunset. Maybe I'll be the sunsets that are pretty but not astounding or noticeable. The ones that say spring is around the corner but the air is so still and so cold that you can't quite get the feeling that things are unfreezing. Or the ones in the dead of winter that hide behind permaclouds. If I could only melt through you, you'd have found something beautiful. But I'm not hot enough to be beautiful, and that's just being truthful. Except it's not. That's not how I feel. That's not real. Sure, I'm not the perfect sunset, but again, let's be honest, no one is. And every sunset is different, just like every person. And I'm sure you've all learned something from this rambling piece of nonsense. So, one more time. This is the poem you write when you have nothing left to say and at the end of the day you just feel empty, shitty. Like you don't care enough about anything but moving on to move on. Like everything's gone wrong for so long that every song you hear brings you to tears, like you've been frozen in time for 20 years in a bubble of disillusionment that was meant for someone twice your age. Like this quarter-life crisis makes it hard to gauge just how happy you used to be. Makes you wonder where you'll be in the next 20 years. And one of your biggest fears is that you'll be right here. This is the poem you write when everything you ever wrote has the same note to it and you miss that place. Want to float to it like you used to, but you're not the same person anymore. Not a saint, not a whore, but undefinable. Unrefinable. Like you've made so many mistakes that you don't even have what it takes to get up in the morning. Because you know there's no fixing things. Only mourning what you could have been if you'd done everything the way you should have. This is the poem you write when metaphors and similes are only words that rhyme with megahores and absolutely nothing. You even looked it up in a rhyming dictionary, and the word dictionary isn't real, and that's more than you can deal with right now, because rhyming dictionaries make you feel more worthless than a shirtless guy with a six-pack that you will never kiss. This is the poem you write when someone asks you to fill 15 or 20 minutes with your own words, like they never heard you say you were empty all those times. And the poems they want are the ones with rhymes. You can't get enough feeling behind your words, they become meth. Words about words. Poems about poems. This is the poem I wrote because I somehow get the reputation that my stuff is good enough for this kind of thing, but we all know this isn't really my style, so I'll just sit back and smile while the professionals get down to business.
This poem is called Fetishism. I want an out that extends from the syllabus, window to infinity like music to the think tank. The head quarters for reasons like I'm human and I want to rewind and be reborn wearing a blindfold and earphones that no one can take off. I'm building you a runway. I can see you are lying, flying past precocious as the accident of interstellar birth. Porn stars knocked up and off course and can't take off. Till cold feet crumble the cliff edge of the knowable world, said the philosophers. All that we have are ourselves. And we're groundhogs preparing to pare down our shadow. Cerebrum, cerebellum, dicephalon, stem. When a shrewd breeze, a jet stream, shook March off the calendar, the typist neither flinched nor looked up from her desk, as the office swirled around it fast as clock hands in retrospect. Pages ago, streams of consciousness were promised to culminate in green black back roads symmetrical as love. One prophet gets his thaw on in a warm patch of four-leaf minutia. Such perverse, uncensored footage we made fade at all costs. Airbrush those washed-out photos, souls. Wax-clad wings, spiral arms, and other parts float down, memorable, emeralds in the rough. Rumpelstiltskin spins signals out of broken rings of song and falls asleep at the table with the disc on. Repeat. I'm building you a runway. Scratch. A landing strip to tend. The tracking device in your neck. The new needle in a haystack. So last season. Luck is dead. Results in. An alien thing landed on our shore. A whirlwind of enviable colors over. Making us mute. Making us more. And while you were developing the technology to fly as fast as time, I was unquartering the clovers.
You got $20.
I wish I did.
$20. So much.
Anybody got $20? kind of in the middle of something.
It's for $2 between.
I got a cigarette.
Just $2. Please.
We don't have a minute, right? Sorry.
No? $5. Yes, for $5.
They're actually recording this family in the middle of something.
Yes, for $5. Someone.
Have a good night.
Night, man.
Moral dilemma. Fallacies in the philosophy of survival. In a purple field, which only occurs with the exact ratio of dusk and spring, and our city dissolving into flame behind us, we walk toward the west, stumbling over rocks and down the sides of small mountains. Direction and proportion are sly like that, like a loosely imagined Mecca. Like firearms strapped to your back can resemble a shining set of wings. The beholder must decide what it is she sees. There were warnings to not look back, rumors of failed attempts to escape. The immigrants immediately transformed into pillars. Others suffered slowly, unable to return to the lethal village, unwilling to let the sight outside their vision. When the bodies were discovered, the archaeologists found 0 signs of wounds that would infer a gruesome battle, only hand after petrified hand, positioned as a shield over their skeletal brows as if entranced, as if immobilized by some faraway image. The location of the dig was 1 mile from the ruins. A woman becomes bitter, stares out to the bitter cold. I cannot stay, I have nowhere to go. We took to the fields beneath us, a breeding ground for torn beholders buried deep in purple earth. We were armed and ready to open fire, to ascend beneath our terror mechanisms or a supernatural transportation system, depending on the beholder's willingness to survive. From behind, a sun unleashed assurances of spring, icicles disassembled from barbed wire trees, as the fence surrounding our homeland thawed, by nature, by fire, from friction created by a storm of feet deciding. West, you said. I'll carry you, you said. It was no longer winter when a woman would not leave her cathedral. Dusk, I said. Darkness, you said. Walking in the direction of a setting sun is like walking through a setting of a fictitious story. How will we end? Where is this going? And here it appears as where the evidence ceased to matter. Pillars of salt, a cathedral shattered, home I wept, fairy tale, you told me. When you lifted your weapon, I saw a wing unfolding. Fair Verona. Drop your weapons, she says. I say I don't have any. You're lying, she says. I say Jesus. I'm sorry. My story is so simple, I'm ashamed. At 18 you rose, threw on your flannel and snuck out with your wicked stepdad's pistol and some plans. Homicide or suicide, everyone asked except me. Come as you are was the party theme. I came alone. My dad thinks it's a stage. There was the question of how to present ourselves, distinctions between butch and femme, blood and let blood, between love and letting love to be made. There was the issue of the pseudonym. All I asked was for your name. You laughed, said pending. I said, Jesus, I'm sorry. Simple, he'd say. It's just a stage. Then the show got ridiculous. The lead singer smashing his 12-string on the amp. Cataract of sparks like red stars. You asked if I was taken. But then the party crowded in, like the blind around a miracle performer. Like fans around a flame. Homicide or suicide, they ask. I hide. Don't forget you're taken, said my boyfriend as he drew a dozen roses from behind his back and handed them to me before he vanished into twilight and I changed. Come as you are was the party theme. I came in his flannel. My bouquet, blocks back, a copula, a cataract of red petals spilling from the bridge rail to the river down below. The lead smashing his 12-string on the speaker. Explosion of distortion and petal red stars. My sternum, a double bass pedal beating triple time. Homicide, you lied. But then the lead got ridiculous and flew off the stage into a sea of fans, a surf wave. My bouquet, still littering the bridge, blocks black. your bullets still poisoning the river, as we came, as we were. To left. This one is called Proneness. The night sky, a voluptuous black, swan taking a bullet to the breast, bloody blossoms blooming all at once upon a time-lapse photograph. See with your eyes, not with your hands. Evoke the fondest of the fond, my brother, my God, complex, examining the pavement for a smooth patch, shooter for blemishes. I walk through the valley of your shadow, a slim chance weighted down with just enough marbles to drown me, and just pretty enough to impress the other Pisces at the show and tell display that follows high school whence we carry timidly, our half-formed senses of self. We lose touch for different reasons from diametrically opposed coasts. For me, every hangover's aurora borealis is charged with telepathic electrodes, transmitting felt warnings at speeds I hesitate to translate. For you I appear dying in too many dreams. Over too many rivers I waver, never casting my first stone. The agate moon, hanging dull and low among the fireworks, then retreating into some remote corner of the lake, far more well-rounded than I'll ever be. 1,000 rock stars smashing their guitars on a dark stage, sparks cascading down upon a sea of fans, a surf wave, me taking it all serious and in. Temporary centerpiece, bomb threat, apocalypse, theory head, beast of water, cusping Aquarius, she who hates because she knows not what she is, amphibian. Second born, second sex, addict, par excellence, sister of the boy who cried, keeper of the cat eyes. I've been called a lot of things in my life. Last one, this is called Necessity, Tranquility. To those whom the gods would undo, they told the truth. Was gnarled but glowing like embers embedded in the ground. How unseen the old view, how crude and indescribable. The vast bay window costing NASA an arm and a leg to see what they could see. Up north, there are more dark days than waves through them. A thick skull buckling in the cold, blooded riverbed, a winded depressive who'd kill to pay rent. The indiscriminate expansion of everything under the sun. All become one who could have been an astronaut, the unearned wonder, the sucker, the loss. I'm convinced that we were, all of us, fireflies in previous lives. And while the glue faded, the filament hung on. But not till we are buried are we bulbs. Redundant. Don't think of wings as obsolete but novelty. Whose roots bloom black and bottled messages read, save me from myself. To all those the gods would burn out, they lent flame and watched panoramic clicks corrupt the wicks of troubled teens. Da Vinci's first angel, Descartes' wax and wasp-infested gown. To these delicates we dedicate thread waste, threshold. And who do you propose may have pressured the free object's fall? Thus mocked the anchor tied tightly to the anchoress, tossing and turning down the path to enlightenment. Dream your way back to the valley of the shadow, mind the weather, remember who you are. A mythological figure, come hell or high water, full circle or color, the hook that would catch your attention, reader, the link appearing broken in a chain of events, viz. An outstretched hand on the suicide bridge. The moral man would serve he put to words, a kid again, bearing an eraser at the point of no return.
Amanda, are you selling this?
Oh, just donation, I guess. There's like three here, so like if anyone wants one.
All right.
Yeah.
Again, that was Amanda Silbernagel, everyone. Nice round of applause. Transmissions outside the teaching, so just go and speak with her. Next up, Daniel Moss.
Thank you. We have different ways of feeling. ways and moods, these things which are the essence of our presence in and to, which is to say, our comportment of being in the world lies in caring. And caring is a way. It's a directedness towards. It's a pleasure and passion you can't find in words, but you feel it in tempo, in time, and in two. It's the space that is time, that is self, where we do. That's the fact that we do by the fact that we are. Whose because is our is. When we realize the world and the moods of our being, and the rhythms of seeing, but greater in feeling and greatest in being, when the act and the line juxtaposing the actors no longer define, where the in of our being, what's the is of the presence, that's the what of the here nows and there thens, where there ends, where wins, find friends and symptoms of rhythms and notions through motions, but they would dry out an ocean. So to leave left a pond, so it's simpler to study something small but respond, that they would sever the bond of your being in for being by. Seceding from self to make other and I and mirror unmitigated, moral disasters encountered and bowed to and bought by the fear of ephemeral fate, space and finitude where fate's far from the feeling that founded the fucking and freedom and beauty before and behind us. So let me remind us that we will break boundaries if boundaries bind us. We will gaze on the God rays and welcome the blindness that follows. So never revise for windings. For beauty is a reckoning. Returning to God, an acceptance of essence, of the selves being in, that's the self being asked. So be thankful. Be thankful for the beauty that can bear your breath. And eliminate all artificial lines left that divide and distort and reduce you to parts. Forgetting mood is the heart, and feeling is first, so feeling is good. And the sole responsible reason for any abstraction's existence, and now there are many, was to fix feeling's future. Ensuring regard held in reverence for essence, but in backfiring fashion, abstraction ate presence. Consuming entirely the space and dimension of which it extends in, of which is our being, by which it should follow that feeling as first means we make our tools in the moods of our stances and the mercy of chances and service of stanzas that flirt with and fancy the sensing vibrations, meta-rhythmical realism, pulsing and pounding like waves on a wall, to remind us that all of our systems and symbols are destined deep constructs, are set up for failure because the concrete is, in fact, not abstract, so the latter can cause contradictory facts in the sphere of emotion. Of directed concern, we are beings who feel, for whom things really matter, and it follows that language and words are inadequate. Thank you, that's overwhelming. I have, this one's not really memorized, so I'm going to read it. I hope that's okay.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Treetop canopy side sway like her hair, where my hands move over your ear from here to there, she stares. Wind made ready was the steady air that hosts our voices, veered through grasses, greens and yellows, lifted leaves and mellow meadows that kissed, that bit like teeth that kissed, kissed your skin, that bit like teeth, like frost, like hips that hit when words were whips, and pain would rain on normal spring and summer desert droughts, that sublime like storms that tag along from trips and doubts back home. I'm sorry. Shifting shades, the shifting states of arboreal colors, are the rhythms of lovers, selves and others, harmoniously humming, buzzing, breathing, beating bass, vibrating strings that sent to send you, seeping in through, sensing in your tapping into, softly breathing, soundly sleeping, simply needing another minute to finish the dream that assured you that she was something special. While perfection's imprisoned in conscious subjectivity's dramatic irony drenched God's objectivity, where words were categorical, in every gesture, an unbreakable pinky promise, he honestly wanted only her and knew it would work with viewings reviewing, indisputably confirming. But God had the director's cut. An additional 6 months of footage that featured the film from her speakers, her lines, and her dialogue confined so that he couldn't see it and she couldn't bear it. And God was aware it was now time to share it. She severed in silence and sent him away and jumped in the arms of another the next day. So she's with he, and I can see that they have the same dance moves, the same tempos and cadence. On paper they're perfect, so how could I hate it when all that I want is to see something blossom? To see that the love that we live for can last, to see it has substance, this love has abundance, and isn't so fleeting as a casual greeting or momentary meeting, a cut that is bleeding, demanding attention, and closes and seals after brief intervention of space and time. So the passionate bursting, confirming, existing, and being is stunted and ended, till all that remains are the scabs and scars that show who we were to create who we are. So this sun that should burn when our urine makes me tan. And let's skip the scabbing of the cuts that we made, and remember the scars and the marks that we gave as the shadows of kisses, paint left behind on the nights on your floor when we granted a canvas the memories of passion and loving and longing, a work that would never be lost for belonging. Our time saw the weather look better than ever. And fall came to kill, so the seasons surrendered. The memories rendered only those that were better, so the scars and tattoos are what we trace together. The ink from our lips that mixed under covers, and colors undiscovered that bled into our skin through the veins to our brains like some sweet souvenirs, but these marks will remain. Since feeling is first, who pays any attention to the syntax of things will never really kiss you. Holy to be a fool while spring is in the world. My blood approves, and kisses are a better faith than wisdom. Lady, I swear by all flowers, don't cry. The best gesture of my brain is less than your eyelids flutter, which says that we are for each other. So laugh, leaning back in my arms. For life is not a paragraph, and death, I think, is no parentheses. Thank you. I have one more, and it's actually a hybrid poem, so Alex will be stepping up pretty soon to help me finish it. My name is Dan. Thank you for listening. Bracing myself behind bars beneath train tracks, trembling from a vivid vibration to the distant dark monster cane of consumption. I lit a loose cigarette, the last in my pack, put it back in my bare pocket, pandering to the change of junkies, searching insatiably for a fix I can't fix, the market's fixed. Crack-crazed conspiracy theorists crammed past cops that paid off with time off from time clocks, clicking, ticking time bombs, bombarding blank egos, bleak byproducts situated by society, commoditized for corporate concerns so that passion burned the last living light of the soul that might bear beauty bright in this world but was only shown work. While parents are patterned to implement pathological complacency, status quo quotas, they're quoting Reagan instead of Rimbaud.
Join the revolution. It's a solution, I swear, and I'm sorry that these views are just a little bit impaired, but follow me, people. You got nothing to fear. Follow me. There's no reason to be scared, because I've got this thing, this dream that's in the back of my mind letting me know that everything is going to be fine. But it's not fine. Not yet, and I regret to inform you that you'll have to conform to the way of thinking that maybe our fathers thought wrong. Stay strong, they said as they tucked us into bed, not knowing that those words would be more poisonous than lead on our foreheads. The lipstick still sticks from that goodnight kiss that we so graciously received from our mother's lips, with each one imprinting those capitalist, convoluted ideals of work hard and play later. But what if that later never comes? What would that do to the hearts of little ones? Because the state states we have to go to school from years 5 to 25 to get a good job and a nice car to drive. Make sure you keep that white unstained in your picket fence, because these are the goals that make sense. But since when does way of life have anything to do with complacency? And I can guarantee you that apathy can kill quicker than the sword, but I guarantee you that my pen is going to be mightier than their words. So I'm going to go ahead and write it bold, scream it loud. See your potential, people, because as of right now, inspiration is completely cut off, and aspiration is stopped. And I'm sorry for that loss, but we have the right to fight to get it back. Attack, now is your time to strike. So writers, grab your pen and let that new world begin, and artists, grab that brush and create a canvas of lush beauty. It is your duty, no bless, no bleed. Start the siege in the name of free love, in the name of free thought. Let us break out of this prison, let us gain back what we have lost, because we are not bees in a hive and serve to save, enslaved to serve the queen and her regime. We are the carpenters who set the stones and lay the tone for the future generations. So let us speak easy, let us speak free, and let this revolution begin. This next one's called Angels and then Arrows. There were angels in the air that night. I could feel them. She goes home alone tonight, and the boy that adores her watches taillights drift around the corner as she proceeds further and further away from the threshold of his front door. And as the taillights fade from red to black on the asphalt, he sighs and he thinks to himself, how much longer can I hold out on the one thing I want to hold the most? He thinks about all he said that night, reviewing each sentence, critiquing each syllable, and thanking God for not letting him use the wand about the stars, her dad, and her eyes. Don't worry, though. He's going to use slam instead of pickup lines. He is now hopeless. Due to the love stories and thinking that maybe Aladdin is real, he sees a whole new world. And as he sits on his magic carpet, he opens a book that was meant to be forgotten, and he dives into the 7th chapter of 1 Corinthians, and he begins to believe again. He says, for me, for her, for the emotion that we share, there has to be a God who works in mysterious ways to create such a beautiful thing. A God who's merciful, kind, who saw that we were hurting, and through that hurt brought us together, and together we will be the definition of destiny and the reincarnation of beauty. Together we will be the one thing that he didn't get wrong, the one thing he didn't fuck up. He goes to sleep alone tonight with a goodnight kiss to his ego, recollecting all the times he made her smile. Thanks God I could get used to that. And the girl that could fall for him goes into her driveway and with a sigh thinks, how much longer can I hold out? Because I know I'm the one thing he wants to hold the most. This is whenever I lose all faith in the idea of a platonic relationship existing between two members of the opposite sex. This is whenever the going gets as good as the sex. This is whenever I realize that just because it was a shit movie, maybe Gump's mom had it right whenever she related chocolate to life. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. And the chocolate that I got was pretty damn good, though it came with a bunch of masochistic torment. A still frame image of you instilled in my mind from the night that we blundered under a bundle of blankets while sharing each other. And that kind of imagery seeps in with each girl that I see. So they all have tiny fragments of you that remind me of that night, like some of your hair, some of your skin, some of your voice, and some, and this is a feat, some even have your eyes. So then I begin to compromise my situation, trying to fit them all together like tiny little puzzle pieces in an attempt to create the ultimate picture of beauty that is your unforgettable figure. But even that doesn't come close to embodying the greatness that you are. That doesn't even scratch the surface because you put the bar that fucking high. And I want to thank you for that because you gave me standards. I also want to thank Lewis for putting love into 4 separate categories so I could better understand the evolutionary process that is the essence of a relationship. And I wish that I could take the 4 different types of relationships and stick it to the framing of a revolving door so to be a smooth transition where we close the door on agape and open up the door to whatever the fuck this mess of emotions is that we obtained through that fateful kiss. And I still remember how your lips tasted sweeter than nectar. I still remember how you looked a lot better in my sweater, but baby, that sweater would look a lot better on my bedroom floor if you guys know what I'm saying. I still remember my fingers as I pioneered the strands of your hair all the while I was wondering if you were pondering the potentials and the possibilities of you and I having a life together. And I had to apologize for my cynicisms up to this point because for years, to me, love was like farting in a bathtub. You think it's a good idea at the time, so you let it happen. And the bubbles feel cool, it looks cool, it is cool until shit hits the surface. That's whenever you realize what it truly is. A stench that lingers in the air, burns your nostrils, fills your lungs, makes you regret every decision you've ever made. And I'm really glad you changed that imagery for me because it's disgusting. But look, I'm going away for a while. But I don't want to let that make you think that we might not be able to work this out. I've got a life to live and so do you. But as long as we're facing our mortality, why don't we live together? So I wrote this one Saturday, so it's not memorized. We, the immortals, the deities of debauchery, the lords of luxury, the spirits of sensualism, and the gods of good times. With our powers, we'll create a universe with the snap of our fingers, the sound of which will set vibrations and rhythmic patterns and emotions, starting the movements of atoms and molecules. With that snap, the Big Bang will happen. Galaxies will hatch throughout the dark abyss, and worlds made complex components will mold. These worlds will have life. Roots sprout from the soil, making 50-foot trees out of bongs, having bubblers for branches and blunts instead of berries. Streams of melted plastic will flow wherever the ice cans, quarries, coves, caves, and pits will be full to the brim of decorative umbrellas, olive pits, and cherry stems. The seas will roar of absolute and gray goose, and the tides will lower, leaving beaches littered with not jellyfish and seashells, but instead use condoms and bottle caps. We will sit on the thrones of our very own Mount Olympus and jam out to Skrillex while Zeus rolls zigzags at a perfectly made J's. Our world will spin effortlessly on Atlas's fingertips, and Ares and Aphrodite will have our purpose more now than ever. We, the immortals, in our sanctuaries of dive bars filled with frat stars, we will make bottomless wells out of half-price wells and chimneys out of windpipes, letting the second hand wrap around your body like bed sheets, juxtaposing the twists and turns from the dance floor and the fucks and the fights to the outside and the freedom from the feelings on the previous night, substituting bar light for sunshine, absorbing it in order to fuel our ambition, our confidence, our romance. forgetting who we once were. Like the princess wearing her tiara in her court of 21, 21 friends celebrating for the 21 years that she has lived. Where were they whenever she had her head buried beneath the crown of a toilet seat, begging not to bear responsibility, finding her neverlands with pixie dust and happy thoughts she pleads with what energy she has left. And it's her party, so she can cry if she wants to, so she cries out to us, her gods, her creators, who should have been her saviors, but instead we set sail to new lands. We, the immortals, are just and true to our vices, putting our good times higher than our convictions, our morals, our ideals, putting them higher than what is right and what is wrong. We sell our principles at bargain prices. We have become sellouts and silhouettes, ousting what we have been through ourselves. We are petty pigs in front of a trough, waiting patiently for our next round of drinks, so we once again can be saturated in the existential rhapsodies that the life has to offer. So fill up my cup, let's get fucked up, and then lay me to bed. Maybe then I as well will find my Neverland. This one's my last one, and it's not mine. There's this guy named Isett that is like taking a huge influence in my entire life. And as much as I hate doing other people's work, I'm gonna be a hypocrite. Yeah. We all wanted that high school sweetheart. We wanted to be young in the 50s with meatloafs and sock hops and lawns so perfect they looked like Clark Gable was kissing them. We wanted to be 13 alive and meet a girl that was 13 alive and walk with her past the grandstands, to sit and hold hands with, to sit and kiss with, to sit and sit with, like it was something that you would miss, but that never was. And we once went to bed like between the bed sheets was a valley with dinosaurs still breathing. And I would capture these triceratops and brontosauruses, but even they were opened up with the smoke that rose from the homes and the corners that which we once climbed through. The city streets and the footballs of which we once lived, the school desks upon which we once drew, the windows set open through which we once flew before the outside world of parking spaces and dead friends came flooding on in. And we forgot what we wanted, and we became what we become. Waitresses and bartenders, city employees and temp positions. We are junkies and one-kiss poems, and we cry the stars. As we write our scars onto these dumpsters and electric boxes, because the only things that we can hear are our hearts, and the only ones listening are the streets. Through the blood that bleeds, through the letters we leave, and we dream to rise ourselves up above these burning buildings, but instead we get buried somewhere beneath. And I know my life is like some high school kid's notebook. A high school kid that shuffles back and forth between school and home, stacking the letters and the pictures too close for anyone outside of his own imagination to read, because it's through the ink that his heart breathes, that his heart bleeds, and we all just wanted to write these notes. Check if you like me. Check if you don't. Check if you'll date me. Check if you won't. Because we all wanted the love songs to be true. We did love dinosaurs once. And we wanted the stars to hold our hands, to lick the teeth, to fuck us. But they ended up fucking us. So, just smile, twist. Like my heart danced precariously on the edge of my fingertips, staining them like that same high school kid, using a Sharpie tip, flicking his thoughts right, and I was here. I was here, motherfucker. And ain't none of y'all can write that in the spot that I just wrote it in. I'm here breathing in and you are here breathing out, and we are breathing. And every breath that I breathe brings me a second closer to the moment that my mother may die, and every breath I take takes me a second further away from the moment she caught my father's life, because every word I carry is another stone to place in the foundation that I'm building. Because the days can erase something I never saw, what we all wanted but never forgot, what we all hadn't had, what we all forgot, that we all wanted to be something, that we all became something. And it may not be the shit that you once thought you'd be whenever you were kids, but something is still something. Like some cats say something's better than nothing. Feet are smarter than an engine, and dreams are stronger than thighs, and questions are the only answers to know that I'm alive whenever I have the mind of a child. Asking questions, why does 2 + 3 always equal to 5? Where do people go to whenever they die? What made the beauty of the moon and the beauty of the sea? Did that beauty make you? Did that beauty make me? Will it make me something? Am I something? Will I be something? Then the answer comes. I already am, I always was, and I still have time to be. Thank you guys so much. I think that's the end of everything. That was like really, really short-lived. But later on, if you guys want to hang out, I think that we might be doing an after party, so just ask for people and we'll figure something out. Again, she has books because she's published and shit.
I have like
yeah, no, I'm really happy about it. Just so you guys know, this is my last show, but I'm going to be passing the baton to like Daniel and Amanda and like all those other people that are involved right now. So like, y'all continue this, please, because we do this for y'all. We want to entertain you, inspire you, and whatnot. So please keep this going. Don't let it die. Thank you guys again for coming out. Thank you. Because they're tight.
unlisted in a freestyle session.
Someone is.
How many of those will just raise your hand? So she's spot one.